Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, we got the top 3 lockdown builds in NBA 2K22 Next Gen, so I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Let's try this one to 1,000 likes. Now, we're gonna get straight into this one. We have a very familiar guest here from the point guards video. We have the two-way three-point shot creator. So, we are gonna talk about this in a second. We also have the two builds named perimeter lockdown, but they're very different from each other, so don't think that the title just means that they're the exact same thing. We have a lot to talk about. So what I want to recap here is the 6'6" is a very well-rounded build. It can do it all, but it is also still going to be a very good lockdown build that I wanted to mention in this video. At the 6'5", we have a complete perimeter lockdown. It's going to be all types of speed, and you're going to be guarding the outside and the perimeter super well. It's going to be a little bit suspect on the interior defense and block and stuff like that, or rebound, and it's going to be a little bit limited when it comes to the playmaking and finishing ability. Actually, a bit limited when it comes to the finishing ability. And with the 6'7", it meets a lot of the thresholds that you need for certain badges on certain things or certain contact dunk packages, yada yada. You get the deal. Now, one thing about the 6'7" that's going to be an advantage and a disadvantage is its versatility. So it's not exactly great at defending the perimeter. However, it's also going to give you the option to be able to switch certain things with your big man in terms of the situations where maybe you're a little bit too slow to keep up with the point guard, but then you have the height to keep up with the big man in terms of being able to deal with his height and his interior presence, so to say, or his rebounding. So we'll go ahead and start from left to right. This is absolutely one of the best builds I think you're going to see on 2K22 Next Gen. We're going to go with point guard for all of these builds. I just want to clarify to you guys, picking the point guard position, you're going to be at the PG in your My career, and I highly suggest that you do that, because in certain college games and stuff like that, it's going to set you off in a really bad spot where if you're a shooting guard, you're going to be lined up on the shooting guards as well, and you want to be lined up on the PGs because plucking the ball is super easy in this game. However, your arrow has to be facing the person that has the ball. So if you're kind of hawking the ball handler and you can't exactly figure out how to switch your arrow onto him every single time, and that's just tedious in the first place. That's a lot to be doing, and long story short, I'm here to look out for you for your badge grind. On top of that, picking the point guard position makes it so you can choose the lowest weight possible, which is going to be very good for your speed, which is extremely important for the lockdowns in my opinion in this year. I want to also tell you that I believe when it comes to strength, people are completely just BSing that whole thing. I don't believe in strength one bit when it comes to lockdowns. I've seen it for myself. I literally have 37 strength, and I've been playing some really good defense, and I've been really loving it. And I would expect that it'll do the same thing for you. So it's all about speed in my opinion. It's all about having the clamps badge and stuff like that. It's all about just being in good position, and being fast is going to do that for you. And being at a point guard position is going to allow that to happen for you. Now, I'm pretty positive when it comes to filling out the attributes and getting the badges. They're pretty similar when it comes to the point guard, shooting guard, and small forward all across the board. So if you want a taller position, go ahead and do so. At this position, when it comes to you being a good height and having a lack of playmaking ability and stuff like that, if you're worried about lining up at the 1 and the point guard you play with, and he's kind of like your homie and he's part of your squad, you're worried about him lining up at the 2, understandable. I understand why you'd want to go with the shooting guard. I'm just telling you guys, it's going to help your badge grind a whole lot. So anyway, with this two-way, this dude is absolutely one of the most menacing builds I've ever seen in this game. He got 6'6", 180, 6'11" wingspan. It's not the max wingspan, but this is what you're going to need to have all the stuff that you need for it. So with this, you have a secondary ball handler. It has 85 three-pointer, which gives you gold on the chef badge, which is going to allow you to, like I said, be a secondary ball handler. You're going to be able to shoot from decently deep is what I'm getting at here. And even if not, you have 85 three-pointer, you're going to be able to have literally gold catch and shoot, which you also get at 84 three-pointer. You're going to have gold corner specialist, hot zone hunter. All of these like kind of things are really needed to have 85 three-pointer to meet certain thresholds on these. So I find it super important to meet that actual threshold. So you're going to have 21 shooting badge points. You have 92 driving dunk for the elite contact dunk packages that you also need 85 vertical for. So we already have that. For the playmaking stuff, you have 86 ball handle, which is going to meet all of the pro dribble move thresholds that you're going to need. You get all of them at 85. You have gold quick first step. You have silver bullet passer with the 70 pass accuracy, which is going to be plenty enough for the role that you're going to be playing here, even if it's as a secondary ball handler or even as the primary, and you want to play as like a two-way where you're guarding the point guards and you're running point guard for your team. This is very capable of doing so. This build is just great, and honestly, it's like one of the true demigod builds of this game. Anyway, 92 driving dunk, like I said, pro contact dunks, elite contact dunks, all that stuff. You have 85 three-pointer, very doable. Ball handling, good. Pass accuracy, doable. And then for defense, The original way that I had this build set up was with no interior defense and no block. I think this right here is going to be a super fire addition to the build. I did show it in the point guard build video as well, but I didn't intro it like this. And for you to have the block is going to be very key in terms of trying to get chase down blocks, type of stuff like that, where really these point guards, when you are guarding them super tight and you're really not giving them any space on this 3-3 stuff and they get past you, you're dead if you don't have block and interior defense. It doesn't matter what your vertical is. It doesn't matter how hard you're trying to, like, you know, catch up to them and stuff like that. You don't have block. You're just done. So this build does get silver chase down artist, and then it also gets bronze rim protector. It does meet thresholds for those. It's not going to be amazing when it comes to that, but it's going to be super nice that you do have that. Now, one thing it doesn't meet is the Hall of Fame menace threshold, which is a little bit unfortunate. You need one more perimeter defense to have this. And with the way the build is constructed right now, you're not going to be able to achieve that any way you do it. However, if you want, you could take the wingspan up and you will be able to get this perimeter defense. I will show you guys real quick. I'm just going to finalize this version of the build, but I'll show you what you could do with the perimeter defense up one. You're going to lose the gold chef badge, but it's not the worst loss if you're planning to play as more of a lockdown. Obviously, like I said, if you want to play as a secondary ball handler or a primary ball handler, I would definitely recommend to have that on gold at the very least. But anyway, you meet the 90 steal threshold that Mike Wang has been preaching about, as far as, and then the whole community just echoed everything that he had to say about it, how this is really elite in terms of getting on-ball steals. You have gold pickpocket, all types of stuff like that. Hall of Fame clamps for the 94 perimeter defense. And like I said, if you want the 95, we're going to make that version a little bit in a second. Just to wrap up our thoughts here, 88 speed, really elite for the 6'6". That's going to be really nice. I don't have the vertical maxed. I usually love to upgrade vertical all the way as high as I possibly can, but with the way this build is constructed, as far as trying to be really well rounded at everything, it's going to be hard to do so. So I would just encourage you to make this build how you want to. The structure of it itself is how I want to bring these videos to you guys, and then you can tweak this however you want from these ratings that I have right here, because I think these are some very core and very key attribute ratings that you have to achieve, and I just want to give you guys the knowledge of those actual attribute ratings that you have to achieve, and maybe you can take it from there and figure out what you want to do with it instead, and just make the build that's perfect for you. I'm not trying to have you guys copy and paste every single thing I do on these videos, but I just want to give you guys a good blueprint for them. So with this built the way that it is, you have lockdown takeovers, playmaker, sharp, and slash. I mean, this build is just insane, bro. It's really insane at everything, and it really just can't be beat in terms of how good this is. I can't stress it enough how cool this is, for the sake of running at the point guard spot for 2v2, running at the point guard or the 2 spot for 3s, and then really this could feature in and even Pro-Am as a pretty solid build. I mean, to have like the gold for limitless spot up is very nice in terms of if you were even a secondary ball handler and you're spotting up on the wing, and just like that, now you have enough ball handle to still be pretty viable when it comes to that. Maybe you're the 5-out option even, and you have really good driving dunk. That's gonna be a really very key aspect. You're gonna be the fast break guy, and you're gonna be the fast break stopper too. So all of that's gonna be super important, that you have the good defense, etc., good speed, all types of stuff like that. You're even versatile at the 6'6". I mean, this build just literally can't be beat. Alright, so the threshold that you meet for taking the wingspan up by literally just 1. This is from 6'11" wingspan to 7-foot wingspan. You still keep the 85 ball handle that you do need for the pro dribble moves. You still barely keep the pass accuracy at 70. You do lose the gold chef badge, so just keep in mind, if you want to make this more defensive oriented than ball handler oriented, this is a decent move for you to do. You do also lose the 80 driving layup, which gives you access to really good layup packages for, say, spin dunks, hop steps, all types of stuff like that. But really, is it worth it to upgrade it? For the perimeter defense boost by 1, you're going to boost steal a little bit as well, because I originally had this at 90 because there was no point to do it because the threshold met only 94 or 95. But with this wingspan tick up, you also get Hall of Fame pickpocket. So this is all something to keep in mind. You're going to be very limited in your badge points in terms of you only have 21 of them to actually use. So you tick up all that stuff. You have menace on 6, clamps on 6. That's already 12. Now you have pickpocket on 6. That's 18. Just like that. Now you have things to budget between chase down artist and rim protector. I would definitely advise, if you make this build right here, to go with the defensive college games, where you can get +4 to your defensive badge count and you'll have 24 just like that, because it's going to be very important to do so if you do end up with a build like this, because you're going to be lacking things like interceptor, which isn't the biggest deal. Hustler, not a big deal either. As far as we know, ankle brace isn't going to be super important, but who knows how the meta develops as far as ankle breaker stuff goes. Ball stripper, not really that important, but either way, you get what I'm saying. Things like pick dodger might have to be taken out of the equation, which is debatable with this build because obviously you lack rebounding. So it is what it is. It's going to be very tough for you to fit in the defensive badge count with this. Again, you guys can flex this build however you want, all types of stuff like that. I'm just here to bring you a really good mold to use for it. So with all that said, you do get Silver Rim Protector unlocked for hitting 75 block. You also get, like I said, the Hall of Fame Menace for hitting 95 on this, and then you get Hall of Fame Pickpocket for also hitting 96 steal. This is a really big upgrade when it comes to the wingspan. It's hard to fit all those badges in the first place anyway, so it's up to you how you want to go about that. So now that we've spent an eternity on that demigod two-way whatever everything do-it-all build, now we have the perimeter lockdown build. So at 6'5", this build's going to have really good speed, elite speed. Really, it has 93 speed, which is amazing compared to the 6'6" that has, I think, 88. And then to kind of just preview what the 6'7" looks like and how much this height actually hurts speed, this gets 82 speed at most. And mind you, this is at point guard where the weight can be as low as possible, low as physically possible, really. And I do have it one weight up just so you can have one more interior defense though and you don't lose any speed. But either way, this has 82 speed, mind you, and for 2 inches of height, you gain 11 speed. That is big time if you want to be Mr. Perimeter Lockdown, strap the point guard up, and just stick with him the whole way. Now, with this, I also upgraded rebounding because I do believe, I really do believe, even at 6'5", I myself personally use a 6'6". I can still rebound very well in this game. You still get silver rebound chaser, you still get bronze, rim protector, stuff like that. You could still switch on to the bigs when need be. I promise you, it is possible. You can defend them. 96 vertical is also going to do you wonders in terms of that too. Please do not get rid of this rating. Now, here is where the build struggles, right? It's not going to be much of an offensive threat. You're here to just literally play 3v3. You're here to, if you touch 2v2 with this build, you're out of your mind. Unless you play with an absolute ISO beast. Like, you play with some dude who is just built like that at 6'8". Like, Nut is the only dude I even know that you could ever run this build with. Because you have to be not only lined up at the 1, where you're guarding point guards, but your 2 would also have to be the dude ISO wing, and he has to be able to guard bigs. So I'm thinking of this build for just 3v3. That's all I would ever keep in mind with this build. But with that in mind, like I said, you do have the 95 perimeter defense. You could have even more than that if you want, but it's very hard to achieve so. So you got menace, clamps, pickpocket, all that stuff that we were showing with the last build if you just take the wingspan up. But with this, you have a lot of speed, 93 speed. You have really good three-pointer as well. I have, with the way that I have this set up currently, I have 23 shooting badges on this build, and I saw that you have some pretty decent dunk package. You have quick drops at 60 driving dunk, which is still doable. You have 2 finishing badges, which, isn't the greatest, but it'll give you maybe lob finisher and limitless takeoff. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You're not going to be able to use much when it comes to your finishing badges. It just is what it is. At the end of the day, the build can dunk when wide open. That's pretty much what I'm going for with it, and if it's able to do that, it's good enough. You shouldn't ever be having the ball in your hand and doing something with it. But what I also wanted to give speed with ball for, I just want to clarify all this. I'm thinking fast break with this build in mind, right? So originally I had this with no driving dunk at all. And matter of fact, just for the sake of the science of this video, I'll go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. I ended up going with a pretty good little split between speed with ball, ball handle. You could get gold quick first step on this, but then I thought of the average viewer and really just the average player or even any player in mind. And I thought about 25 driving dunk on fast breaks. And I'm like, that sounds awful. And then I thought about anybody who could maybe, just not even care about playmaking. You don't want any ball handle or speed with ball. And then you want to just go everything into the dunking, for instance, which would give you 90 driving dunk for gold posterizer. But then at the same time, when are you ever going to be comfortable going in for a dunk with 25 ball handle? Or on the fast break, if you grab this, on the fast break, somebody leaks it out to you, and you are just home free. All you gotta do is just run to the hoop. But then you have 25 speed with ball. I've seen it firsthand, believe it or not. Tonic, our lockdown last year, he was 6'8", and he had 25 speed with ball in his build, and it definitely was brutal. So I would advise, I think this is actually going to be pretty solid. You can run silver quick first step and silver bullet passer with this. That's already 6 of your playmaking badges though out of 8, so just keep that in mind. Obviously, you could just run things like, say, maybe bronze bailout, or if nobody on your team runs floor general, why not just run it at that point? I mean, it's not the end of the world. You're there to help your teammates, and obviously if you're making this build, you're a pretty considerate person because it's not going to be the most entertaining on offense, but with defense, you're going to see your role, and it's going to be very fast, to be able to defend point guards at a very good rate, and this is a very good build when it comes to that. a very specific role, defending outside point guards. And again, I don't think it's going to be too horrible when it comes to switching. I understand 6'5" is a little bit undersized in terms of guarding bigs, but I myself made the 6'6", and I was comfortable making the 6'5" as well. The only reason I didn't make the 6'5", I just felt like I wanted just a little bit more height for feeling comfortable of actually being at the 3 position. Obviously with this, you don't want this to be lined up at the 3 intentionally, but if you get switched on, it's not the end of the world. I think you can definitely hold your own with the decent rebounding and decent shot blocking ability that you have. So for the takeovers, it only has 2. This is going to be similar with the next build that I show too. All it's going to have is lockdown and sharp. I really don't think this is that bad. For those who don't know, lockdown takeover boosts your speed, it boosts your acceleration, it boosts a lot of good things when it comes to physicals and obviously steal and all types of stuff like that. Sharp takeover is a sharp takeover. It's really good. I would always recommend this on a build unless you're somebody who's just coming out here and you want to run double lock, but I would definitely recommend to run any form of sharp primary than lock secondary or lock primary, sharp secondary. So now we got the 6'7". Now I just want to remind everybody that the reason I'm making all of these at the point guard position is for the my career grind. And honestly, even if you're somebody who thinks that you're going to sit here and grind this whole build just through the park, I promise you got to play a little bit of it, because if you don't play the G League and if you don't play the college games, and just for anybody out there who hasn't got the memo on this, I've been trying to preach this in the streams for like literally almost every 20 minutes, but you got to play the college games first, then play the G League after that. So the college games give you a +4 boost in any badge category. They have like 8 colleges and they show you where all the boosts come from. And then for the G League, it gives you a 5% boost to your my points increase on anything you do. I'm talking park, my career, whatever the case is, pro-am, and it's super convenient. It's super nice to be able to have that 5% boost. If you look back at when you hit 99 overall, you probably save yourself almost 500,000 my points of grinding. It's definitely going to be worth doing. So for those who think you're not going to come out here and touch my career at all, I highly advise you to at least touch the little intro. You're going to have to even do it for the takeover boosters and stuff like that too. So I would just super recommend you to at least do the G League and the college, and remember to do the college first. So anyway, 6'7". You get the 80 ball handle threshold, so that's something nice. You also have 79 3-pointer, which isn't exactly the greatest, but with this 6'7" comes a couple downsides. Obviously, if you want the wingspan super high, which I definitely would for this height, because it's what you're going to need to have really good perimeter defense and steal. With this 6'7", we also unlock the ability, again, to have all of these defensive badges. So Menace on Hall of Fame, Clamps on Hall of Fame, Pickpocket on Hall of Fame. That's your big 3 right there. You really want those badges. I'm talking like those are by far the big 3. Those are the S tiers for sure. Like when I put this defensive badge tier list together, which low-key, hey, by the way, coming soon. So stay tuned for that. The downside to this build is the speed. Obviously, you still have 95 vertical though. That is insane for a 6'7". So just keep that in mind. This build is going to be a chase down artist menace. You're going to have gold on chase down, silver on rim protector, and silver on rebound chaser. It's really nice. You low-key could even play the big man spot with this very easily, if you ask me. It's really good rebounding, really good shot blocking. I did lower the D board a little bit, and I don't have O board up at all, but that's because you obviously have 3-pointer. So this right here is like your pick and popper hybrid between this and being the lockdown. I think this is still going to be a very doable lockdown build, but obviously the lack of this build, like I said, is speed. Now, if you come out here with 2 6'7s and you want to play sides, that's even perfect. Like, nobody in pick and roll is going to give you a hard time. You will struggle, however, to guard ISO. I promise you, you're going to struggle to guard ISO, because if you don't have a small build on the court that has like the speed to match the point guard, you're just going to get left in the dust, really. I mean, if you have 82 speed and you're guarding like a 6'2" point guard that has 93 speed and 93 speed with ball and 94 speed with ball, you're going to have a hard time. But either way, if you're just strapping up for pick and roll D, if you have 2 of these and you're setting your squad up to have like, you know, a very versatile defense where you're really not going to give up many threes to pick and roll teams, and you can just double team the point guard or play sides, give up slips to the big, and then, you know, it's up to that after that. I mean, if you want to limit 3-pointers, that's on you. But anyway, pretty much to finalize what I'm thinking about with this build, you have 84 driving dunk, which is enough for the pro contact dunks. You only get silver posterizer, but it's a nice little staple in the game. I think it's not that bad. I've seen it firsthand. It's really still doable. You definitely want to make sure you still have vertical. I don't remember what the vertical threshold is. I think you need 70 at least. But anyway, this build really isn't anything special, but it's definitely well-rounded, and I would say it's a really good staple on a team. Like, if you have 2 of these, it's even greater, like I was saying, for the size defense. and it's still a very good build. Like, I would say this is just the glue build. You're not going to look at it and be amazed by anything other than probably just the fact that, like I said, you do get the big 3 of defensive badges on Hall of Fame while still being 6'7", which is very like impressive and very like important, I should emphasize. And even on top of that, you do get pick dodger on Hall of Fame as well. So really, I would say even the big 4. You even are going to be a chase down artist beast in terms of guarding the ball. So if you do have to play high and you have to take the point guard's 3-pointers away, you are definitely going to be nice when it comes to chase down blocks. Like, you're going to have really good vertical. Your lunges are going to be really amazing at 6'7" as well. And then again, you have great defensive attributes when it comes to perimeter D, steal, block. Interior defense is even solid too. Your rebounding is very doable, and really overall, I don't think there's anything you can really even tweak with this build. Everything looks pretty good in terms of what you would want out of it. It's just if it's the style for you. And once again, just to clarify, these are your only 2 takeover options. Pretty much, I just feel like these are your 2 to pick from. I mean, if you want to go perimeter badge drop, it's understandable, but it's, you know, kind of about a vicinity and stuff like that. And I don't know how to feel about this stuff. I don't even know if, like, because if it's not going to affect their badges in the first place, if you're not getting like a contestable range on them, then who even cares? Enhanced jump shot contest might need to be a move this year. I'm not going to lie, this could be a fire takeover badge because it's very hard to get shot contests in this game. And if this actually does something, and I might test it myself too, that'd be a really good idea. But aside from that, I guess the big 3 would be extreme clamps, enhanced jump shot contest, spotted precision. That's about what you're working with. I think it's pretty straightforward. With this build, you're probably spotting up in the corner, or you're running pick and pop. One of the 2 things. It's about as simple as that. So anyway, that's all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on the noties, all that good stuff. And if you made it to the end of this video, put lock in the comments to show your support's made it all the way through. Now, real quick, if you haven't already watched these videos, I did a best big man build video, like all 3 of these. So we got a 6'9", a 6'9", and a 6'8". I did a best point guard video where we have a 6'2", a 6'3", and this exact same point guard that you see right here. Sorry. And then I also made a video individually talking about the 7-foot big man and how much of a menace this thing is. So feel free to check out all these videos. I think this one might be dropping later in the day, like the one on this 7-foot big man. So feel free to check that out. I think the lockdown video is coming first of those. But anyway, it's off the video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And like I said, if you made it to the end of this one, put lock in the comments to show your support's made all the way through. On that, take it easy, man. Peace.